Hello, everybody. Hi! What a wonderful Thursday today. Hello po sa mga nanonood sa mga bahay nila. And welcome again. My name is Gail, and today we are not going to talk about NBI or your application, but instead we will talk about your preparation to become a registered general nurse here in Ireland. So, kumusta ba ang lahat? Ayan, grabe, napaka-active talaga nitong si Ana Garcia. Hi Ana, magandang gabi po sabi niya. Ayan. Kumusta naman dyan sa mga nanonood? Please comment down below kung saan kayo nanonood. Wow, ayan. Sorry guys, wait lang. Ayan. Ayan. Hello. Hello, Ana, ayan. Alam nyo ba guys na yung guest natin, guest talaga, yung speaker natin for today is forte niya talaga. Ito, grabe, forte talaga. Ganun talaga. No? Forte niya talaga ang mag-share ng information regarding the multidisciplinary team. So ano nga ba talaga yung multidisciplinary team? We've been talking about this. We've been exposed to this term siguro if you work in Saudi Arabia, if you work in hospitals there in the Philippines. But of course, ano nga ba or sino nga ba ang kasali sa multidisciplinary team dito sa Ireland? Ayan. Hello, Miss Joy Adriano. Ayan. Yan talaga sila yung mga active. Ayan. So guys, anong tawag nito? Sana yung iba. Nako talaga masasaktan ko yung iba. Late na naman sila. Ayan. Happy Thursday po. Stay safe po sa lahat. Ayan. Of course, ayan, Miss Anna, stay safe ka rin dyan. Okay. Ayan, nandyan na. Ayan na ang mga yan, alagad at mga nabudol ko na naman. Ayan, hi Harold John. Ayan na naman. O di ba guys, feeling ko, matatandaan ko yung mga laging nanonood ng live. Alam niyo yon. And, lagi ko silang matatandaan kasi lagi silang present sa lahat halos ng live stream. And alam niyo yun guys, kasi parang it shows like joining and like wanting to learn from from us or from these speakers is like showing that you are humble, na hindi na humble kayo to accept this kind of information, that you're willing to learn kasi nga iba-iba naman tayo ng experiences. Ayan, sabi naman ni Ninya. Hi Ninya, si Ninya Aida Marie Paler. Ayan, yung friend ni alala ko, friend ni Emma. Ayan, hello sa mga nanonood. We only have, I'd say, I actually talked to Miss Joy and I told her, Miss Joy, baka carry 1 hour kasi may appointment ako. But anyway, hopefully mapasok natin lahat ng mga information na kailangan nyo. Sorry, nag-i-intro lang ako para comfortable din si Miss Joy dyan sa backstage. Alam nyo guys, pwede ko talaga ilista yung mga pangalan na laging present. Ayan na naman si Jay, ayan, si Sia, RN, silent watcher po. Naku, wag kang silent dyan talaga. Yung mga nagsa-silent dyan, hindi talaga makukurot ko. Ayan. Si Janice, ayan din. Ayan. Same people are watching and it is nice to know na consistent tayo sa ating pagsubaybay sa mga lectures kasi this RGN preparation series was tawag nun? Ano yung otak ko? Was actually was actually designed, yun pala ang term, was actually designed for those nurses who are preparing themselves before coming to Ireland. Kasi nga, kahit naman na magagaling, naku, alam na natin yan guys. Magaling talaga tayong mga Pilipino. However, because we will be exposed in a different kind of healthcare system, we will be exposed to different terms, different policies and procedures. So, kaya merong ganito to educate us and to remind us the basic. Okay? So, ayan na. Intro na ako talaga. Apakahabang intro na yon ha. So, ayan na nga guys. Are you ready? I would like to introduce her kaso isip ko, wag na lang. Hayaan ko na lang siyang i-introduce ang something. Ayan. Pa-introduce ko sa kanya. Ayan. Her name talagang her name. And is Miss Ellen Joy Pagunsan. And without further ado, sige na, ayan na, magpalakpakan ang lahat. Ayan. Hello, grabe
Sorry
talaga
guys,
ang intro
haggard
ko,
ako.
diba? Ayan.
Di ako
Ay, naku,
ready.
walang haggard-haggard
Haggardness.
yan.
Hi guys,
Grabe
buong
siya. Ayan.
patulat. Welcome, kinakabahan ang first time ko.
Ayan.
Anyway, my name is
Actually, first collab
Joy.
namin.
Hi, everyone.
Ayan.
So,
First collab namin ni Miss Joy. Kasi, ang tawag dito,
yeah.
meron din si Miss Joy na YouTube channel.
Ah,
However, magandang i-follow si Miss Joy. Alam niyo bakit? Ayan, eto ang kanyang YouTube channel. Ayan, Financial OFW. Please don't forget to subscribe to Miss Joy's YouTube channel. Kasi bakit, guys? Siya talaga ang tutulong sa inyo kung paano yumaman dito sa Ireland. Ayan. Kasi, paano yumaman talaga? Budol na naman kami, guys.
okay.
Ayan. Okay, meron siyang mga tutorials doon on how to earn, Ma'am Joy, no? How to save.
Yeah.
Ayan.
Mm.
Kaya
Hello,
kailangan,
Ninya. Hi,
subscribe
Anicia.
nyo siya.
Everyone.
Ayan. O sabi nga ni Ninya, hello daw, Miss Joy. Ayan. Guys,
Parang
huwag
galit
nyo
na
talaga,
galit. Buong
promise.
pangalan ko, Ellen Joy
Naku.
talaga. Galit?
Oo. Ayan. Yung YouTube channel niya, guys, tuturuan niya kayo kung paano mag-save, paano kumita, paano mambudol, charot lang, hindi. Paano magpa-pera. Hindi naman, parang how to make use of your money, at saka how to handle your finances, parang ganon. Kaya, don't forget to subscribe to Miss Joy's channel. Pero ngayon, hindi perang pag-uusapan namin. Di ba, Miss Joy? Hindi kami mambubudol.
Ay,
Oy, may tanong si Jay sa'yo, Miss Joy. Walang hiya talaga sa si Jay.
Open-minded ako.
Ayan. Ayan, open-minded ka ba, Miss Joy? Ayan. Uy, open-minded si Miss Joy. Huwag niyong awayin kasi guys, bago lang siyang mag-collab sa akin. Hindi niya alam na pasasayawin siya mamaya. Hindi niya alam yan. Ayan. Ayan, sabi ni niya, para po kahit sa pangalan man lang. Uy, wait lang. Wait lang. Ba't may hugot ka niya? Anong hugot mo? Sabi niya pa, para po kompleto kahit sa pangalan lang. Eh, ako. Isa ka din ba sa mga hindi kompleto dyan, Ninya? Ako din naman eh. Kaya pantay-pantay lang tayo. Damay-damay na to. Ayan. Sabi ni Ana, hi, Miss Joy. Ayan, eto talaga siya. Hello pa, Miss Joy. Sabi niya, ganun.
Hi, Ana.
Ayan. So ngayon, I would give the floor to Miss Joy and hayaan ko siyang budulin niya kayo sa mga ituturo niya. Kasi na rin kayo ngayong umaga, nabudol ko na kayong mag-attend nitong live stream natin. Magpabudol na kayo ng tuluyan, guys, okay? Alam nyo na yan. Hindi naman tayo, di ba, as I always said, hindi naman ako gumagawa ng videos na para lang may video. Hindi lang din ako gumagawa ng live stream para lang may live stream. I always make sure na may mapupulot kayo dito sa ating live stream. Okay? Kaya, Miss Joy, I would give you, talaga, wait lang, Miss Joy talaga, ayan, I would want to give you the floor and give you the chance. Oh, kasi kanina pa ako dadanan. Ayan, Miss Joy, you can start now. I will decrease the volume of my background music. Ayan, ang floor na. Thank you po. Yan na, you can start, Miss Joy.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching. Welcome to my vlog. Just kidding. Anyway, guys, thank you sa mga magte-take pa ng RCSI in the future, in few weeks or months. Preparation is the key. First of all, just the introduction. Preparation is the key. It's better that you organize. I always see to it that I tell everybody, you organize your notes. We have kind of a list of topics that can go together. So it's better you list all the topics, like for example, gastroenterology. It goes with constipation and colonoscopy. It goes together. So something like that. So you organize your lectures. Then after that, if it's still early, that's fine as long as it's organized. But sure that around 2 to 3 weeks before your exam, memorize yun na lahat. I know it's not easy. And as for me, I have a hard time memorizing, but 2 to 3 weeks, I think if you read the RCSI website, is very helpful talaga para sa lahat. Okay, so now let's go to multidisciplinary team. So what's the MDT all about? Like for example, when we work in Philippines, wala naman tayong ganun. May ganun ba tayo? Parang wala naman yata. Once
Para
discharged,
kasi,
bigay lang
alam,
ng
feeling ko kasi,
prescription.
feeling ko kasi, Miss Joy, hindi siya talagang explained sa Philippines na eto,
Yeah,
multidisciplinary team ang ating approach.
yeah,
Ayan.
yeah. But here in
Meron
Ireland, oh, by the
tayong
way, guys,
present. Yes,
yeah.
sorry.
Sorry guys, I'm just here for 1 year, so I'm still learning. But yung ibibigay namin ni Gail sa inyo na information is those you can find RCSI website. So preparation is the key. You have to read the RCSI website. Bits by bits, lahat yun.
What we're going to
Then list
present to
all
you
the
is based on
MDT that
our
you can find. Yeah.
experience, based
Yeah.
on what we know, and based
Mm-mm.
on the resources that we've read. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
of course, even if we have this live streams, it is also essential that you read who are part of the multidisciplinary team on certain situations. Say if the patient is a cardiac patient, sino ba talaga ang
Mm.
involved? If the
Yeah.
patient is an elderly, has infection, has COPD, diabetes mellitus, yung mga ganon. So, meron yan silang
Mm.
different teams. Etong i-present namin sa inyo is like the general one. Like,
Yeah.
most of kung sino yung involved sa medical, multidisciplinary. Yeah.
Yeah. Since the content of the RCSI website is completely confidential, we'll only give you a vague information or a sample of MDT that you can see in the RCSI website and some additional that is not in the RCSI website as well. So, like for example, why do we need the RCSI website? Oh, I mean, why do we need the multidisciplinary team? So, like for example, here in Ireland, you are not just discharging your patient or you're not only concerned about the patient. You have to collaborate. You have to intervene. You have to refer the patient in a specific multidisciplinary team so that when they get discharged or even if they're in the hospital, you can already ask someone or ask different services to take care of the patient, whatever they needed. So first is like for example, if your patient is for discharge. To be honest, guys, ang area ko kasi is intensive care. For those, we don't usually have MDT, but we have, but it's more common that it is being used for those who are assigned in the ward. So, like for example, if your patient, you're from the ward and they're going for discharge. So first is you have to inform. Once you have the order, you have to inform the social worker. So the social worker will see what the patient needs, what the patient is capable of, what are the common services that you can provide, and that they needed when they discharge from the facility or the hospital. So those are very important information because from there you have to determine which services you will refer your patient. So the other thing as well, if like for example your patient is an or elderly or has an illness or had an accident before, so they need further help physically, not more on physical intervention. So that's where we go to occupational health. So the occupational health or occupational therapists, they have to see or assess the patient's capability or how is he going to go over with his daily with his activities of daily living. What does he need when he go home? Does he need aid, like for example he need a walking stick or baston or something? What does he need at home? Does he need a wheelchair? Does he need a specific mattress? Does he need rails at home that can promote, like guys, we the number one rule here in Ireland is you have to think what is the patient safety. That is the number one focus for all of us healthcare team. So once occupational therapists have assessed what the patient needs, it's very important that it is installed before the patient goes home. The patient have already how to do or how to use equipments or these aids. Oh guys, sorry ha, kapag may questions kayo, just butt in, that's fine. On the comments below, okay? That's fine. If you have any
Oh,
question, then we can answer, and so that at least it's an
pag may
interaction.
ayan.
Okay.
Ayan.
So this
So
is
yun na nga guys, pag meron kayong question, you can put it there sa comment section, and we will discuss it like after like a certain time. Okay?
yeah. So this is a very important. But what if, for example, you have a case that okay, your patient is for discharge tomorrow, and you already informed the social worker, you inform all MGTs. So the problem is anything that it's aids or any installation at home is not available. So there goes, dun tayo papasok. Tayong nurses, not only the public health nurse us as nurses in the ward, or nurses or community nurses. So we are part of the multidisciplinary team. What will be your intervention? So what will be your health teaching? So for example, hindi pa siya na-install yung mga gagamitin ng patient. So you can just say that, okay, for the meantime that there is no crutches or there is no device that you need, what are your alternatives? Like for example, you when walking, when you can teach your patient when if you don't have a crutches, you have a hard time walking, suggest to them or recommend that they use a non-slip socks, make the hallway clutter free. If ever there are anything that nakakadulas, you have to instruct the family or the next of kin, very important, family or the next of kin, to prevent any injury and promote safety. So, yun, dun tayo papasok guys. Hindi lang kasi wag nating ismulin yung ating kakayanan sa mga health teaching natin. And guess what? Very important dito ang health teaching. Sometimes the patient might even test you on what you know in a certain medication or a certain information. Okay, so that's that.
But in lang ako, Miss Joy, ha? Ang in-emphasize kasi ni Miss Joy is that you have to know what to teach your patient. Kasi nga, like say for example, post-operative yung patient. We all know that we have dietitians who will teach them, but also, alam niyo yung power ng nire-remind natin sila, like when we're going home, we will remind them, make sure that you take your medications, make sure that you eat high protein diet, make sure that you avoid strenuous activities because like it will put stress on your operative side. Alam niyo yung ganun. So
Yes.
even if may present na ng multidisciplinary team prior to discharge, it is still your responsibility to emphasize to your patients kung ano talaga yung mga dapat nilang tandaan. Yan.
Yes. You have to reinforce more information sa family and the patient as well. Okay. So next MDT that we'll discuss is the physical therapist. This is very important, really, really important. At gamit na gamit ang service na ito. Even for us,
Gamit
I see. Gail.
Gamit ko po ang physical therapist.
Yes, guys, gamit na gamit ang service na ito kasi all areas, even intensive care is like even for us, one day post-op, open heart surgery, you go out of bed. Kung okay siya, kaya niya, blood pressure okay, obs are okay, you go out of bed, then in the afternoon you walk because this is good for the lungs. So physical therapy, they help you with the activities that you can manage. Okay, like for example as well, not just post-op, like for scoliosis patient, we handle scoliosis patient as well post-op. Scoliosis cardiac patient, they have a specific exercise that they can do only. And these physical therapy knows or specialize on specific exercises on how they can manage a certain patient depends on their capability or depends on the surgery that they have done. So including the elderly patient, what if your patient is for discharge as well? So this we have to focus, one thing we have to focus is discharge. Kasi if the patient is in the hospital, kaya natin, nandiyan tayo. Lahat ng resources nandiyan. But what if the patient is already outside? So the physical therapy is very important. So like you have to reinforce, or usually before discharge, physical therapies are being focused as they are being teach not only to the patient, but only to the next of kin as well, especially those who lives with the patient. So, ang importante doon is, like for example, magsabi sa'yo, na frequent yung turo ng physical therapy, but sometimes it can happen that the patient or the next of kin will forget. So as nurses, we have to know this. Oh, this is what you do, and this is the frequency of how you should do it. And at home, you have to do it. But if you feel like this, and sometimes as well, there are instances that there are paid physiotherapy that goes house to house, depends on the family, or sometimes they're paying. So it's really very good, a good MDT. And like for example, magsabi sa'yo yung relative is, what? Oh, I don't know. Paano bang exercise yun? Eh, sila yung natuto, sila yung turuan. What will you do as a nurse? Just go back as hindi naman tayo PT, but going back as a nurse, as part of the MDT team, you can reinforce, this is what is done. But if you really don't know what this next of kin is asking, you can ask, okay, what I can do, I can organize a meeting with a physical therapy so that they can give you more information, or they can reinforce what has been taught to the patient or the next of kin. So something like that. So guys, this is, you have to reiterate, but MDTs is not applicable to all instances. This is applicable based on the scenario, on what you have on your RCSI exam. Okay, so we're just giving you bits of information. All right.
It's also, dagdag ko lang, Miss Joy, it is also essential to remember that physiotherapy involved in the active.
Nagahang ka, Gail. Hello?
Ayan, nawala kami. Wait lang. Ayan.
Oo, naghang.
Ayan, nagbabalik. Ayan. Nagbabalik. Ayan. So, remember you guys, they're involved in the, it means, sabi ni Miss Joyce, sa exercises. Ako, I've made use of my physiotherapist, my physical therapist, when I had my own thing. So, they would arrange a follow-up, like an outpatient appointment with them to make sure that you're doing the exercises. They will check on the strength of your muscles. They will check the improvement, like say your range of motion, like will you be able to walk this time, or kaya mo na ba, can you stand on one foot, can you kneel this time, or can you straighten up your arms this time, like say if you had some surgeries, or if you had an accident, like if you know what I mean. Those are the main roles of the physiotherapist. Yeah.
And guys, alam niyo,
sorry. You go ahead.
Alam niyo ba na ang strict ng physiotherapist dito sa Ireland?
Alam niyo kalaban ko sila. Kalaban ko sila.
Ang strict nila. Grabe.
Kalaban ko sila. Bakit? Wait lang. Kanta ko muna. Ayan, break tayo kasi medyo madami. Ayan. Chika time. I was post-op 18 hours post-op. 16 hours post-op. Pinapatayo ako ng physiotherapist.
Dapat talaga.
I had a major surgery, okay? Ayoko na, sabi ko pa, no. Kaya sabi pa, no, you're already 24 hours post-operative. You have to stand, you have to ask in. Alam niyo guys, yung kilikili ko, ginaganon niya talaga. Sabi ko pa, oh my gosh, I can't stand. Kasi nga, wala akong lakas. Like, that was my first surgery, and like, it was a major one, and I can't stand. Tapos medyo nahilo pa ako, naduduwal-duwal pa ako. Pero sabi niya talaga, no, you can stand, you can do it. Ganyan-ganyan talaga siya. Sabi ko talaga, grabe naman ang motivation nito ni ate. Sabi ko pa, but I'm not yet 24 hours post-operative. Sabi ko, oh, I'm really sorry. Parang ganyan, nag-sorry siya. And then sabi ko pa, and I didn't even, so ito nga, make sure guys, ayan, alala lang, pag nurse kayo, post-operative, make sure that round the clock ang pain relief. Ayan ha. Ayan. Kasama yan sa education kasi naging patient ako. So, ayun na guys. So, yung physiotherapist, as in, strict ko talaga sila. Like, they would really encourage you to walk. Even if you have chest drains, di ba sa atin sa Philippines, pag may mga chest drains, lang sila sa bed. Oh no. Dito, no, you have to walk, you have to exercise.
Yeah,
Sorry
grabe.
na-interrupt. Tapos na ang chika minute. Ayan.
Yes, they're quite strict here and they're quite strict with the breathing exercises kasi talaga namang kapag nag-develop ka ng pneumonia or yung lung collapse, ay nako, mas lalo kang bugbog sa physiotherapy, okay? Kaya ayun, higpit sila dito. Promise,
Oo,
promise.
ayan.
Yung open heart namin the following day, okay, tayo ka. Alright, so the next would be a dietitian. So I'll give two entity that collaborates mostly together, the dietitian and the salt. So sabi ko dati, ano yung salt? So speech language
Ayan.
speech and language therapies. So dietitian is good, like for example, you have patient minsan like you have Parkinson's patient or you have elderly patient, and we also patient who are having dysphagia, stroke patient. So these guys, it's very important they are being referred to a speech and language pathologist to assess their swallowing. This collaborates with the dietitian. So the speech language therapist recommends a certain diet. Like for example, we have cases from esophagectomy, or we have patients with a trach patient. So what they do is after quite some time, they're being assessed by the speech language therapist or the SALT, and they recommend a certain diet the patient can start consuming. But on top of that, the dietitian have to collaborate the amount of calories that patient needs, the diet that additional diet that she can recommend. As well as, for example, if your patient is for discharge, they can give an additional supplement if the patient is underweight. So guys, dito pumapasok yung inyong water low. Okay. So I'm not going to say anything, but some part of the exam if you have studied about water low, they have
We've actually
dietitian is part
discussed
of
the
the
water
MDT.
low.
Yeah.
Yes, we've already
Dietitian
discussed the water
MDT.
low, guys. So alam niyo na yan.
Yeah. Yeah. So dietitian is part of the MDT. Now, if your patient is underweight and patient have a fragile skin, what can you do? Right? So it to say the patient is underweight, and what you have to refer the patient to dietitian because they need other supplement and they need to improve their diet consumption. Because actually even like minsan COPD patient, this dietitian is not only for it's a whole. They tackle every patient. COPD patient, asthmatic patient, they have to have a non hypoallergenic diet. So who will discuss that to them? It's the dietitian. So those with COPD, but they don't want to eat, they're underweight. So these can be discussed. The patient doesn't want to eat. The nurses have to refer to the dietitian so that the patient and the dietitian can collaborate. What does he usually eat and how they can adjust their routine, and they can make a meal plan. So dietitian is a very, very big impact to our system. Okay? So that goes with the speech and language therapies. So these at least tackle we're tackling two birds at the same time. Okay, so those two collaborate majority together, because even our unit, like we right now, we have a trach patient who's been with us for more than a month, and we're just starting him for an intake. So like almost every day or every 2 days, the SALT and the dietitian have to review their diet and their energy consumption, which is very good. So this is MDT. Even sa RCSI exam, you can see the dietitian everywhere. Okay, so I'm just saying it. You can read over, and you can see even patient with diabetics. Imagine like what are or the food that you can prevent. So you have to you can avoid and what you need to eat. So if you don't know anything, this needs to be collaborated with the dietitian as well. So laking impact ng dietitian once you refer to this service. Okay. So the next will be going back as dahil na-mention natin yung water low system. So remember guys, if you discuss about the water low already, the higher the number, the higher the patient is risk for skin injury. So kanina natin siya i-refer. What if the patient is for discharge? So remember, there are parts in the RCSI website that what is your intervention if the patient have this kind of risk assessment. So there goes the tissue viability nurse. Okay. So like for example, the tissue viability nurse needs to be coordinated. What if the patient is already have a bed sore? So sila yung nagko-coordinate, sila yung nagre-recommend on what you use, what kind of mattress they will also provide. And they will also see the patient once the patient is discharged. They will also see the patient at home, and they might also provide the cushion that is available. So guys, just to add up, that water low system in the RCSI website on the chart is very important. Paki-memorize po. Sabihin yung napakadami, pero paki-memorize lahat niyan. Promise. Talagang promise. Paki-memorize.
Eto guys, emphasize lang, sorry. Sorry yung, ayan, so may nakalagay dyan, tissue viability and nurse.
Ay, nurse.
Okay.
Okay.
Tissue viability nurse. Emphasize lang namin, it's essential to read about it, guys.
Yeah.
Tissue viability nurse and with your water low. Hindi namin diniscuss to ni Ms. Jack doon sa aming topics water low because it will be discussed on this part of our series. However, you guys, please read about this. And this is not just for the exam, you guys. Kailangan nyo to when you say if you work in an adult hospital with elderly patient, dementia patient, Parkinson's, diabetes mellitus, elderly patient who had injuries, who had fall. So, eto kailangan niya talaga siyang basahin. Okay?
Actually, you might think that this is just an exam and after this, it just goes to the trash. Come on, no, it's not. Because especially if you want to work here in Ireland, gamit na gamit ang ating mga MDTs. Sobrang gamit na gamit sila, especially those who are working in the ward. Sometimes even theater. I have an encounter that they have to call a doctor or a tissue viability nurse just to see a patient in theater itself. So hindi siya, actually the RCSI website is very good introduction to the system here. It's not just about the exam. So you have to learn this, you have to keep this on heart that ay ito pala yun. Even my colleagues, they would say, oh my gosh, ngayon lang namin realize na ganito pala yung RCSI website. Before na parang tinitake for granted. It's introduction to the system here. Parang dun mo ma-appreciate na, ay, oo nga, ito pinag-aralan ko, ito yung binasa ko, and I'm thankful to the RCSA website that introduced us to the system here. So, just be mindful, guys, okay? This is just not an introduction to the exam itself. It's an introduction to the system in Ireland, in our medical field. Okay. So the next will be, as I mentioned earlier about nurses, we'll just add up a public health nurse. Like, if, for example, the patient is for discharge, nangyayari kasi minsan na for us who are working in a hospital, and for those who are, compare naman sa public health nurse, they go house to house. At means, tumutulong din sila kung ano yung pwede nilang ma-intervene or additional information from the family or reiterate more information about ano bang, para saan ba yung gamot na to, para saan ba ito makukuha, sa ano bang pwedeng nating alternative. Very big help ang public health nurse sa system dito kasi as of us na nag-work sa hospital after they discharge.
Wait lang, may tanong ako sa mga nanonood. Ngayon, Joy, may tanong tayo. Meron ba tayong may paganyan ba tayo yung public health nurse natin? nagpupunta ba sa bahay ng pasyente para i-check kung tama yung diet nila, i-check kung kumpleto pa ba sila sa mga gamit nila. Meron ba? Comment down below kung meron nang mapuntahan ko yan. Diba wala? Ganun sila kaya dito maraming field ang nurses. Diba, Miss Joy, maraming field ang nurses. You can be a nurse prescriber. You can be a clinical nurse manager or specialist. Pwede kang public health nurse. Meron pa siya si Tin is a disability nurse. Yung mga ganun, may mga ganun, guys.
Mga specialization.
Hindi lang yung lang talaga.
Yeah.
Hindi lang tayo sa ospital or sa nursing home. Meron tayong mga ibang fields na pwede natin i-explore because there's always a position meron talagang nagkakamot. Yung iba nga, minsan nagkakamot ng isang position dahil needed siya. Alam niyo yun? Like, kunwari,
may home care daw sabi ni Harold.
Home care nurse daw sabi pa ni Harold. Sana all. Sana all home care nurse po ito sa amin. Ayan. Nasaan ka ba, Harold? Comment down below.
Oo nga, saan ka, Harold? Though actually, nung nasa Philippines ako, nung estudyante ako, I did experience na going house to house. Well, it's actually part of the charity where I studied in Makati Med. So, dun ko na, may mga trach patient, NG, ganon, at home. So, parang, it's interesting. Of course, you won't appreciate it if you're still a student. So, but it's a good exposure. But I think wala nang halos ganon sa Pilipinas. Sa totoo lang. So, ayun. Alright, guys. So,
hindi pa sumasagot si Harold.
Oo nga. Saan ba siya?
Guys, klaro ba? Wait lang, check muna tayo, guys. Klaro ba kami, guys? Klaro ba kami? The voice? Klaro ba? Hindi ba choppy? Please comment down below. Kasi feeling ko nagcha-choppy yung naririnig. Gusto kong ma-check kung choppy ba sa inyo or hindi. Kasi para,
tsaka kung mabilis masyadong magsalita, guys.
Ilapit ko na yung mic. Ilapit ko na yung mic kung putol-putol. Wait, ano sabi? Wala dito na sabi ni Joy Adriano. Ayan, sabi naman.
Ay, sorry naman.
Home care nurse, previous facility po, sabi ni Nini.
I did work in Saudi, in Riyadh.
Saudi pala si
Harold. In Riyadh.
Ayan. Ayan. So, alam niyo na, guys, si Miss Joy sa Riyadh ayan, sa Riyadh siya, sa King Faisal. So, alam niyo na, guys, na malaki yung sahod niya. Ako, guys.
Ay, hindi, Diyos ko, Lord.
Medical City ako, guys. So, alam niyo na, guys, pag nag-compare ng sahod, ayan na, Faisal, Prince Sultan Military, PSMMC, Prince Sultan Military Medical City, at King Fahad Medical City. So, sa mga dito ng late, ka-comment down below nyo kung magkano sa natin. Ayan. Sabi ni Jay, same here sa work ko, meron kami home care nurse.
Oh yeah, we have as well in Saudi. Yeah, we have.
Ayan. Din ako, yes.
Yeah, we have a home care team. Naka-vented pa sila.
Ayan na
nga. Yeah. Okay, guys. So, 20 minutes na lang tayo kasi may appointment si Miss Gail. Alright. So, we go now to our doctors.
Ay, grabe siya. Hindi. Okay lang yan.
Huwag natin i-chaparehan na ating mga doctors. Doctor. So, anyway, guys, marami tayong services ng doctor. Alam niyo yan. Yeah. So, for those who especially go work in the ward, like for us, we see in the intensive care. I can't share much, but because iba yung area ko kasi, my area is a cardiothoracic, intensive care, but I do bits by bits na exposed din sa ibang services lately because we're handling a HSE patients, so patients from government hospitals. So, when we go to the doctor, magkaiba lang yung tawag sa team, pero pare responsibility yung tissue viability. Yes.
Sabi niya magkaiba daw yung tawag.
Yes, yes. Wound care nurse din sa amin sa Saudi. Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, wound care nurse.
Pero guys, pag sinabi nyo ditong wound care nurse, tatanungin ko,
Hindi nila alam.
ganito ang itsura nila talaga. Anong wound care nurse? Pinahirapan niyo ako. Tissue viability
just
nurse.
just be mindful, okay? Just be mindful that the term here is different from what we used to. Sometimes like, ano
Very
yung ano
different.
daw? Like for example,
Oo.
just to be kung open-minded ka, sabi ko, oh, the patient's balls is like this. And like, oh, what? We don't call it balls here. We call it scrotum. Actually, it's really
May pagano.
happened to
Miss
me.
Joy, yun, sa dami po talaga ng example, yung balls po talaga, Miss Joy. Wala na po
Hindi
ba
kasi ito
talaga
na isang araw lang.
example? Alam mo, hindi
Ay,
pwedeng
hindi,
nappy
sorry.
diaper, Miss Joy. Hindi talaga, balls talaga, Miss Joy. Comment
Hindi,
down below.
assessment ko kasi.
Guys, comment down below. Na-feel nyo yun? Pwede naman siya magbigay ng ibang example, ng
Hindi
ibang
kasi,
words. Pwede naman handover endorsement. Pwede
yes,
namang,
hangover endorsement.
pwede namang lift and elevator. Sa atin, elevator dito, lift. Pero sa
Dito.
kanya, guys, Walsh talaga. Siya, pagbigyan na natin si Miss J, guys.
Hindi kasi nag-assessment ako nung nakaraan. Tapos yun nga yung sinabi sa kuhan ko. Tapos biglang sinabi niya sa akin, no, we don't use that here. Ay,
Ang
Diyos ko, I'm
nalalaman,
sorry.
Miss Joy. Nahuhuli, Miss Joy.
Wholesome lang,
Alam
guys.
na.
Wholesome.
Ayan. Sige.
Ay, malilate ka sa
Si Miss Joy, palakpakan. Apakadaming alam ni Miss Joy. May alam na sa
Hindi, ang
pera,
bait-bait
may
kaya.
alam sa bag.
Anyway, we'll go down.
Wala na, sira na yung reputasyon namin. Ayan na, sige na, ayan na, mag-move on tayo. Kakabols natin to eh.
Okay. Sorry naman. Okay, we go now to the doctor. So different teams. So like for example, number one here, very important guys, GP. Okay, general practitioners. So when you get here, it's very important to get a GP nearest you. All right. So GP is not only like even kapag may sakit ka or something. So at least you have some, GP is for overall. So alam niyo yung kapag since medyo marami yatang may mga nasa Saudi dito, remember that we have, back in Saudi, we have a clinic of our own in each hospital. And if we have a problem, we go to, ano yun? Bakit may galing itsura? Nang ira po.
Ay, sabi ni Jay, ikaw Miss Joy. Ayan talaga. Ayan guys, yun, sabi ni Jay.
Sorry naman, sorry na.
May paganyan talaga siya. Sabi ni Ninya, wait lang, sabi ni Ninya, chocoballs.
Sorry, kasi yun ay pumasok sa isip ko, example.
Guys,
Pero nainitan tuloy ako.
sabi ni Jay, sorry, mali yung emoticon. Dapat to pala ganun. Ganun. Tapos, sorry, mali yung emoticon. Sabi niya.
So
sangalan po ng balls.
Sorry, going back to GP. Ay, malilate na si Gail.
Hindi, okay lang yan. Sige. Go ahead.
So anyway,
sa GP
going back
tayo.
to the GP, so kapag punta nyo dito, it's very important that you get a GP or you register to a GP nearest you. So sila yung, kunwari, I have a problem like this. So you go with them. Kasi parang, nalaman nyo yung nasa Saudi tayo, we have a clinic on our own in each hospital. But here, no. Iba yung sistema nila dito. Like, kung gusto nyo pa-refer, go to GP, then the GP will refer you somewhere else. So it's either to the government hospital or you being referred to any procedure, blood test, or whatsoever.
Wag
Ay, naghang.
alala, eto, meron wala na naman kami. Ano ba? Ayan. So, huwag kayong mag-alala because discuss the process. So, alam nyo na yan. We'll discuss to you kung anong nangyari sa akin, paano ko pin-process yung
Nagla-log ka, Gay. Is it sa connection?
Anyway,
Is that on your
And I will
connection?
Miss Joy,
Mm,
Miss Joy, okay ka lang
nagalag
ba,
ka.
Miss Joy? And
Nagalag ka kasi.
yes, you go ahead, Miss
Ay, okay, ganun ba?
Joy.
Okay, kasi
Nagalag
iniintay kita. Ay, sorry.
internet na
Alright,
ata.
guys. Am I clear or
Okay
ako
lang.
lang ba o si Gail yung naglalag? Kasi parang nagsa-stop ako pag napapansin ko si... Ay, dahil sa balls yan. Ay, sorry po. Ako yung naglalag o si Gail?
Ikaw kasi, Miss
Sorry.
Joy.
Sorry na.
Ayan, hindi. Sabi ni Janice, Miss Gail, nawawala po ata ang connection nyo. Sinasabi ko na nga, meron talagang ganap itong balls na ito. Thank you,
Ay,
balls. Marami ka talagang
nakapanapansin.
nagawa. Ayan. Anyways, diretso na tayo. Pag may nag-comment pa dyan ng Miss Joy, ng balls, ako, masasaktan lang. Talaga.
Ay, Gail, sa'yo
Ako
lang daw yung
talaga.
nagluloko. Sa akin, hindi. Okay, so I'll go
Ako daw
ahead. Kasi
talaga.
parang
Ay,
nagsa-stop ako whenever I see Gail because I thought lag din ako.
guys,
Okay.
tandaan nyo, hindi ako nagloloko talaga. Hindi ako nagloloko. Isa lang talaga. Kung siya lang talaga. Charot lang. Hindi na nga, mag-aral na nga tayo. Apakalalandi
Balik
talaga
nga
nitong
tayo doon
mga
sa review. Nakaloka.
Oo,
Anyway, going back.
GP.
We refer
Ayan
to
na.
GP. We refer to the GP for other referral for any for anything na kailangan we refer to the GP kung ano yung like blood test, any procedure or something. So additional on that, like for example, we have a patient with COPD, okay? So, syempre yung COPD hirap huminga. So, they have to get a written consent from the GP that they can travel. Like for example, gusto nilang lumipad or gusto nilang mag-travel somewhere else or something. They need to get a referral or a written request, a written paper documents from your GP that you're fit to travel. Even for us here, like if you pag nag-sick ka on a specific number, like I think 1 to 2 days, then after that you're okay. That's a paid, but beyond that, you have to have a GP certificate. So it's very important to have a GP here, especially for those na katulad namin ni Gail na maraming medical and surgical history. So ayun, okay. So very
Grabe ka.
important.
Grabe ka dun sa madami. Na-hurt
Ay, ako lang ba madami? Isa lang ba sa'yo? So anyway,
Go ahead.
additional nasa doktor na tayo is like for example, your patient is diabetic. So one of the health teaching, for example, if you can read ang daming information about diabetes in the RCSO website, and you can use this as well sa inyong daily activities here when you're licensed, when you're working. So you have to refer the patient like diabetes. Siyempre important yun, dapat foot care. So who are you going to refer? So the GP needs to refer the patient to the chiropodist or
May
podiatrist.
sagot na agad ako. May sagot na agad
Ha?
ako sa screen. Ayan.
Ay,
Ayan na sa
sorry.
screen.
Yeah. So
Ayan.
those are the referrals. So they're also they are also a doctor who specializes in foot care. So sa Pilipinas, I'm not sure we have a diabetic nurse in the Philippines
I
as
think
well.
sa Philippines, I don't know if meron tayong podiatrician.
I'm not sure, but I think it's
Comment down
tackled by
below kung
a
tama ako.
diabetic nurse.
Kung mali ako, sabihin nyo.
Something like that. So here, very important kasi imagine mo guys, pag hindi na agapan agad yung sugat ng pasyente sa paa, of course, they have a very slow or poor healing or poor perfusion. So ang mangyayari is magkakaroon ng problema or magiging worse yung kanilang sugat or maybe it can lead to sepsis or even death. So imagine that. So it's very important. Additional information. This is very important MDT for those, especially for diabetic. Okay. Additional then is optometrist. So you know naman one of the complication as diabetes. Very common kasi yung sakit na yan. You know, everywhere, not only here in Ireland, in Philippines, or everywhere, lalo na imagine sa Saudi before. Ang dami, halos ang dami. So anyway, one of the complication is eye problem or you know, pagkabulag. So, it's very important that they're being seen by optometrists. So, if you can read over same as in the RCSI website under diabetes, you can see it there. But not only for us. Like for example, here, nagpatingin ako kasi I'm wearing glasses. So, sa Pilipinas is the only, punta ka lang sa, ano yun, EO or something, sa mall, na bibili ka ng glasses. Tapos check, ganyan, you remember, you're wearing glasses, Gail. So, you have yung bahay-bahay, ganyan, check. But here, when I went to clinic to have my eyes checked, ang dami. I have cataract. How much is my pressure, eye pressure? Lahat parang, sandali lang, parang sa text yata ginawa sa akin. Unlike sa Philippines na they give you immediately glasses after checking what is your grade, but here, no, they have to check thoroughly or everything. So yung optometrist is not really, hindi siya ganun ka.
Tips.
Hindi siya katulad ng sa atin na check lang ng grado, ganun. No, they have a lot of equipments here. Dito lang sa sa baba lang, nagpa-check ako. Ang dami nilang equipment. Imagine mo, parang, they're very thorough. Very thorough. To check your cataract, eye pressure.
Kaya guys, tips ko.
Yeah, what's your grade?
Tips dito guys. Pag meron kayong glasses sa Philippines, if you're wearing glasses like myself, make sure that if you come here, like kunwari, ang flight nyo, say, next week, kayo ng glasses ngayon. Check up kayo dyan. Pagawa kayo ng spare glasses. Like say if I have this and I have the other one as well, para meron kayong just in case lang for emergency if you lose the one you're wearing or if you break it. Okay? Make sure you see your optometrist before you fly here.
Yeah. True. Then one more thing, additional MDT is the chemist. Guys, nung una, hindi ko alam ba chemist na yun.
So ngayon, wait lang. Wag mo muna sabihin. Ngayon, magmatalino tayo ngayong lahat. Bakit? Magmatalino tayong lahat ngayon. Ayan. Sino ngayon sa mga nanonood ang alam kung ano yung chemist dito kailan? Kasi nung ako narinig ko to, ako din sabi ko din,
chemist, isip ko lang gumagawa ng mga chemical.
Comment down below. Hindi, oo. Sabi ko din, bakit? Uuwi na siya, sabi pa nung pasyente sa akin. Do I have you spoken to my chemist already for this? What sila ng mga time bomb, mga bomba ba rin? Alam niyo yung mga ganun ba? So, I don't know. Wait lang. Nagmamatali na si Jay. Sabi niya.
Sinerge niya, ginugol niya kaya tagal.
Oo, feeling ko din. Jay? Comment down below kung nag-google ka. Ayan. Pharmacist daw, Miss Joy. Ayan.
So, dito, kung sa Pilipinas or nasa Saudi, Doc, paki-order naman akong ganon. Pwede ba akong mag-over-the-counter dito? No. Not all the drugs are over-the-counter. Meron dito staff sa pharmacy. Ate, over-the-counter ba to? Pwede bang bumili? No, it needs to have the prescription. They're quite strict here with prescription. So yes, you are right, Sia. Chemist is a pharmacist. So I just want to cite an example. One time, first time ko siya na-encounter the word chemist. I had a patient who is a judgmental. I have a patient who is a matanda siya and she is on inhaler. Ngayon, hindi ko alam kung ano yung dose niya kasi hindi clear. So ngayon, sabi ng pharmacist namin sa intensive cares like, where is your chemist? Where do you live? So usually the chemist pharmacy are the ones nearest you. Especially those for the elderly. So doon nila kinukuha yung prescription and they get drugs there as well. So for those who are in the hospital or any setting in the medical our field, the pharmacies we have a GDPR, but they can collaborate with the pharmacist nearest to where the patient lives. Kasi kailangan niya ng gamot eh. What if we don't know? So we can get the list of drugs. They can collaborate to each other. What are the drugs that this patient is taking? So, it's very important. Ito, talagang, kunwari, pupunta ka lang dyan, may pharmacy lang dyan or something, they have a specific chemist or the pharmacist for all of us. And usually what they do is either you bring your prescription or they send an email to that pharmacy branch.
So, sila dito.
So, siyal
Ngayon
sila.
kasi because of COVID, guys, maraming mga online prescription. Meron ding mga
Yeah.
online appointment with GPs kasi nga some GPs won't allow you to go there. So over the phone, over video call or video chat. Kaya ayun.
Yeah,
Yan,
yeah.
Miss Joy.
Yes.
Okay,
And the
panatan pa natin,
last
Miss
but
Joy. Ano pa?
no, last but not the
Miss Joy,
least
wait
will be
lang.
the
Before pa ka mag-last, yeah,
yeah.
before the last on the list, what? Last but not the least. Sinabi ko. Ayusin mo. Dagdag ko lang, guys, kasama sa ating multidisciplinary team, hindi naman talaga siya like, pero kama kasi yung health assistant. Anong role ng mga healthcare
Yeah.
assistant? Kasi merong kasi at Jay na ibang
Ano
part
daw,
ng
chap?
MD. They are the ones assisting with your,
Yung mga
they're the
gawain.
ones assisting with your ADLs, your activities of daily living. And so, kunwari, hindi mo, ang tawag nito, wala kang kasama. Syempre, hindi naman involved ang mga watchers dito, guys. Visit lang yan sila. Ayan, healthcare assistant. Visit lang yan
Wala
sila.
nang
Hindi sila
visit
pwede
ngayon,
magstay dito
Gail.
over the night. So, ang mga watchers like nowadays, I mean, like on the ordinary basis, they just visit and they have like a visit time. So, ngayon, guys, anong ginagawa ng mga health assistant? They are the ones giving you a bath. They'll assist you like if you want to go to the toilet, if you want to eat and like have like restrictions. Alam mo yun, yung activities. So they are the ones in charge of your activities. So, meron pa i-discuss yung yes.
Yeah, actually, they're very helpful ang mga care assistant. Like, for example, if busy ang lahat ng nurses, like you need something from the lab or you need to send something, sira ang pod, or you need to get a blood, they can ask. Very helpful ang healthcare assistants everywhere. Especially pag talagang, well, sa totoo lang, we're all other staff here, even if I'm working in a private hospital, especially now, fully booked kami, kulang na lang magtuon ng tent para maglagay ng isa pang room. Pero, alam mo yun, ang healthcare assistant is sometimes na overlook. Maybe because they're not licensed, but in Saudi they have healthcare assistants. I know they have a nursing background, and if in Canada they are considered the licensed practical nurse. They're like the assistants. Here we have care assistants. They're not really I don't think they all of them are have a medical background, but they are quite and very very helpful talaga sa mga gawain natin, and we shouldn't overlook their help, and they're part of our team as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So, last but not the least, para makuha ng 1 hour mo, Gail. We're on time, guys. We're on
Kompleto
time.
na 1 hour.
Yes.
Oo.
So, the next will be the
Sino nga ba yung
last but not the least is a psychologist. Yeah. Guys, is medyo sa totoo lang, well, with the weather very gloomy most of the time, weather dito very rainy. Unlike sa ating mga Pilipino na sanay tayo. I'm not degrading any nationality at all, but it's just that tayo mga Pilipino is we're used to problems, we're used kahit anong dilubi sa buhay natin, we try to overcome it.
Feeling ko, meron tayong attitude kasi that we make fun of our misfortunes. Like, kunwari,
Yes.
may nadula.
Yeah.
Diba? Parang,
Yeah.
they would
Tatawa lang tayo,
like, some
diba?
would feel sorry about it. But like, tayo, katawa niya kasi, hindi ka kasi nagdadahanda. Alam mo yun, like, you make fun of your misfortune.
Yeah, but here I'm not degrading their capability, but it's just that the mental health here is quite medyo kailangan more talagang medyo kailangan pa talagang improve. So one of the things, especially now COVID, sanay sila dito na lumabas, travel, And now that with all the restrictions and we only go 5 kilometers away, and even now after a year, ngayon lang nag-start yung parang, oh my God, I can't go out. Though it's very sunny outside right now, but it really gets into you sometimes. So psychologists or team of mental health is very, very important. So we shouldn't take this for granted. Eh, minsan ang daming pasyente na they have anxiety, they have panic attack, na regardless kahit anong bigay mo, maglagay ka ng diyan, magbigay ka ng Haldol or whatever, it's quite different because it's something is more on emotional and not just mental. But people needs counseling, especially now with the COVID. So ang importante dito is they need advice, they need reinforcement, and they give the psychologists or the mental health team give more support. Yeah, for us we do our bits, okay? We do our bits, like, okay, we do our task, we do this and we do this. This is our role. But for the mental health of the patient, sometimes you overlook it because we would say, I'm busy to listen. But our mental health team is very important because very particular sila dito, especially sa elderly, that you talk to them nicely, you talk to them heart to heart, wholeheartedly, and actually napakabait ng mga Irish. Well, there are people who are like small minority,
Yeah.
who are
I mean, like,
but
I'd say
majority of
I
them,
would totally agree
yeah,
with you, Miss Joy.
yeah,
Yeah, I would totally agree with you, Miss Joy. Kasi I feel like, feeling ko kasi, like, Filipinos are emotional and Irish people are
yeah,
emotional as well. Like, parang tayo, mabilis tayong makawa, mabilis tayong, we put ourselves in the shoes of others. So, parang
yeah,
ganun din sila. Parang ganun din yung ano nila. And then, like, to be honest, like, when I was new here, parang na-realize ko, grabe ang babait naman nila because, like, they
sobra,
would really, show gratitude. Like, say, if you've done something for them. Like, kasi nung feeling ko, sabi ko pa, kasi yung sabi ng patient, sabi niya pa, can you change my sheets? Is it possible that you could change my sheets? Sabi ko, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Hindi, nag-change na ako ng sheets. Sheets and like, bed sheets. So, nung pagkatapos ko, sabi niya talaga sa akin, oh, you're so good. Thank you so much. You're a star. Sabi ko
mm,
talaga, nag-change lang ako ng sheets.
yeah,
Trabaho ko naman yun. Pero bakit parang, like, you feel like, marunong sila mag-appreciate. I think yun yung
yeah,
nawawala
yeah.
sa atin sa Pilipinas. That we
Ah,
sometimes, hindi
yeah,
naman
true.
sinasabing all the time, but sometimes we we thought that this is their job. They're just doing their job. Pero kasi dito, parang na-appreciate nila na parang, oh yeah, thank you for doing that for me. Or like, I've arranged a meeting with the dietitian to come to you and speak to you with your diet and whatnot. Sabihin nila, oh, thank you for doing that. You're so good. Thank you for arranging that for me. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. Parang ganun, sabi mo talaga na, ay, bait talaga nila. Parang ganun. Anyway, yeah, you go ahead, Miss Joy.
It's
Interrupt na
quite
naman
different.
kita.
Yeah, because it's quite different here. Like for example, even patient like madudumi sila and they feel so embarrassed about it and that you clean them. But I know in Saudi and even sometimes in Philippines, like kahit okay yan, they let you clean them. But here, as much as possible, they do it themselves. They are very independent people. Irish people are very nice. Like sa totoo lang, I don't regret coming here. They're very nice, very kind. Even if VIP ang mga or mayayaman, we don't see them. Even yesterday, I have a patient from public hospital and he would say, so I'm a private patient now. Then I told him, even if you're private or a public patient, as long as you're a patient, we treat the same because we have patients who have a very high status in life, but they are quite nice. Really, you won't even notice that they
And
have
guys,
money.
tandaan nyo,
So,
guys, a reminder lang, guys. When I was working, I work magkaiba kami ni Miss Joy. I work in a government hospital. Miss Joy is working in a private
I'm in
hospital.
private
Pero
hospital.
guys, kami kasi, oo, actually guys, matagal, hindi ko alam to. Pwede pala namin makita kung sino yung mga private patients. Like, kunwari, my names, my
Yes.
private, basta malaman mo kung sino yung private, sino yung public, ganyan. Pero guys,
Yeah.
hindi kami, like, the care I give to my patient because hindi na-emphasize na, oh, he's a private patient or he's a public patient.
Yeah.
Same lang. Kung anong natatanggap kong
Same.
paracetamol,
Yeah.
I was a private patient myself. Same lang dun sa naka-private, so may insurance. Yung
Yes.
tinatanggap kong care, tinatanggap kong pagkain, pareho lang kami ng tinatanggap. Alam
Yeah.
mo yun? Walang
They're quite.
discrimination whether
Yeah. Yeah.
whether you're
Very
capable of
inclusive.
paying or not.
Yeah.
Diba, Miss
True.
Joy? Whether you're
Yeah.
capable or not to pay your bills, they won't judge you. They will
Yeah.
still
It's
give you the
very.
care that you
Yeah.
deserve.
Wala rin kasi sing-sisi talaga, guys. Iba rin talaga dito, to be honest. Like, even when on my first day working here, they would say, "Oh, Joy transferred here in Ireland because he wanted to be treated like a human being." I'm like, who said that? Because they know people from, I'm not degrading Saudi Arabia, but they have different culture. Okay, to be honest, alam ko mag-agree ang ibang tao dyan. But
But
not all of them
guys,
are bad,
pero feeling
some
ko naman
are
kasi Miss
tormented. But here, it's really different, you know. Yes, Gail.
feeling ko naman kasi Miss Joy, it's not really with the nationality. Kasi meron din naman
It's a
tayong
culture.
mga pasyenteng mababait. Meron din namang rude. Alam mo yun, I think it's the upbringing of a person. But in general kasi, ito yung sinasabi namin ni Miss Joy, meron ka rin talagang mapipili, guys. Hindi naman talaga, kunwari sinabi mo, yung Irish patients mababait. Tapos pagpunta nyo pala dito, may na-experience kayo, guys. Sasabi niya, ano man naman yun? Budol naman yun si Miss Gail, at saka si Miss sabi,
There's
mababait lang.
always
Tapos
other side of the
hindi naman,
coin, guys. But
guys.
I would say majority of what you'll experience here,
Exactly.
anywhere, kahit saang bansa kayo mag-work, there's always people. Even in Saudi, there are very
There's
people
always bully.
experience.
There's always
Yeah,
discrimination.
there's
You can't
always the
hide
good
that
and the
one.
bad.
Yeah. Like, parang you can't run away from that. Because number one, guys, dapat sana, no, may nabasa lang ako na parang Filipinos daw, like, are able to go through or like go through bullying and all because we've been conquered by many countries already. Spain, ano ba, Japan, US, lahat na ata. Pero we stand tall at this very moment in time. Kaya feeling ko, kayang-kaya naman natin. But what we are trying to say is that we had a very lovely experience when it comes to our patient and like to
Majority
their
are
family.
lovely, guys. So yeah,
They're
just
you lovely. O
that.
ganon. She's so
Yeah.
lovely.
Uy, Gail, baka malate ka sa appointment mo.
I
Is
know
that
it's okay.
okay?
My appointment is at no in a bit. But yeah, I'll tell you though. I-end ko na lang to ng bigla. Charot lang, hindi. Yeah. You go ahead. So we are on the psychologist. Yeah.
Yo, so that's the good thing here, okay? So if it's here, you really have to promote mental health. Like not only so work at dito, guys. Pag ayaw mo, you're not comfortable of doing, you have to say it. All right?
Yes. Guys, you
Unlike
always
where we
have a
used
choice. Like kung
to,
kunwari may patient ka na, Miss Joy. Like if you're given a patient na parang ay, sabihin mo sa manager mo, sorry, kunwari, si Miss Joy ang manager ko, sabihin ko, Miss Joy, I'm really sorry. I'm not comfortable taking care of this patient. I have no proper experience with this one. I have not had my education with this kind of
yeah.
condition, with this kind of procedure. Is it possible that you could assign me to other patients? Because I am not happy. Pag narinig lang nila yon guys, talaga.
Hmm.
Pag sinabihin mo na you're not happy, sabihin talaga na, oh yeah, we'll try to sort that out for you.
Yeah.
Gusto nila,
Even
gusto nila, happy ka.
yeah, true. And even for us, after the handover from charge to charge and the overall handover, we always see to it, like, for example, are you okay to go back to the patient? Even if a sick patient siya, oh yeah, no problem. Kahit but you can say like, I'm tired. Can I have different patient? But that's fine. Sometimes lang a third night. Oh, it's your third night. Okay, I'll give you a nice patient. Something like that, because you have a very restless patient for how many nights? Like, okay, I'll give you a very good patient today. Something like that. All
They're
people
very
here are trying
considerate.
to, very important for mental health here. Hoy, Aldrin! Nice color! Nag-online si Aldrin. Hoy,
Ay,
guys,
hello, Aldrin.
kayo. So, guys, okay. So, I hope na try to, preparation is the key. Try to read the RCSI website. Actually, nabasa ko yun twice kasi nagliway pa.
Sana all talaga nagbasa ng twice.
Sila na
Sana talaga
makapag-game.
nagbasa
Kasi
ng
yung una kasi
twice.
nakalimutan ko gumawa ng notes. So, ang ginawa ko, binasa ko ulit, tapos gumawa na ako ng notes.
So alam niyo na guys who to run to, okay? Pag may tanong kayo sa RCSI, si Miss Joy. Miss Joy, i-reveal ko na ba ang Facebook mo, Miss Joy? Ang pangalan ni Miss Joy sa Facebook?
Galit ako doon sa
Ang
profile
pangalan
pic.
ni Miss Joy sa Facebook, Joy Pagunsan. So alam niyo na guys kung paano ha. Baka naman may tanong kayo, baka naman pwede siya yung tanungin niyo guys. Ayan.
If you have questions that I can help, well, I can't answer a lot of questions because the RCSI website keeps on changing. And I just saw the RCSI website. They have different content now compared to the previous. But if I can answer questions, you can just send me a message. And for those who have time, kasi ang schedule ko ngayon at pinapangarap kong 2 weeks na day, medyo na purada. If you have if you're taking the exam soon, you can try. And there's no one na makaka-review sa inyo, I can give you bits of information on how to go over the exam. Just be mindful, binabalaan ko kayo at huwag kayong magulat, huwag kayong ma-shock. I'm kind of strict. Mukha lang akong ganito magsalita, pero strict po ako magturo. Ha?
Ala kayo. Ayan. Patay kayo dyan kay Miss Joy. Ayan.
Honest, I'm quite frank when it comes to teaching. I'm not good at
Miss Joy. But of course, Miss Joy, we are just doing this to see the progress naman. Kasi pareho naman tayo ng goal is to make them be aware of what is the practice here and to educate them to make them pass or alam mo yon, mapasan nila talaga yung mga apakahirap talaga na exam. Apakahirap talaga, hindi naman. If you have your preparation, you know, if you prepared, if you practice, if you pray, you have the
Actually,
right.
guys, kayang-kaya nyo talaga. Promise. Kasi all the information the RCSI website are already given to us or we already thought of that or naturo na sa atin yun ng susunod tayo. So it's a matter of preparation. It's a matter of you review again. It's quite very enjoy ako na habang nag-review kahit tumatapos ako before. It's quite good. Okay, so guys, preparation is the key and talagang kayang-kaya nyo yun. Even if may mag-underestimate sa inyo, but sometimes I would say, are you sure you're taking the exam? I would ask you that because it depends on your preparation.
Nag-aral ka? Sure ka bang mag-e-exam ka?
Because you have to prepare in advance. So it's your fault if you did not prepare. But don't be discouraged kasi wag kayong wag nyo isipin, I need nila yung nurses. Even if I don't study well, I will pass. No. It's better that you would say, guys, after ko na exam, iyak talaga ako, even if I'm fully prepared, to be honest, like maybe 60-70% I'm prepared. But I would say to myself, no one goes out of that room that you can say I pass. Even if
yes. And of course, alam niyo yun kasi guys, it's like number one is like you have the theory. The theory is like you can make it. Yung OSCE, guys, it will drain you, like it will suck everything you have on your brain. Na parang yung pagkalabas nyo talaga, parang, shucks, wala na talaga akong alam. Parang alam mo yung pag tinanong paglabas mo, parang shucks, exhausted ka. As in, alam mo yung feeling na kakatapos namin ng exam, tas para kaming tulala, nag-aantay kami ng bus na kagano. Anong nangyari sa atin? Yun na yun? Wala na ba ako second chance para ma-prove ang sarili ko? Yun na, last na yun talaga. Parang ganun.
But so, guys, you have to think kayang-kaya nyo. There are people who are there, especially those who are in theater. Shout out ko. Gusto ko ba i-shout out dyan, nag-post dyan na isa. But no, don't be discouraged kasi regardless of what services you are, what your experience is, kayang-kaya nyo as long as nag-prepare ko. And to be honest, ito yung nire-remind nyo lang yung sarili nyo on what we studied when we were a student. Need nyo lang ng practice and you just need to know kung ano ang approach na gusto ng mga tao sa RCSI. But otherwise, kayang-kaya nyo, promise. Isipin nyo lagi, I always have my motto, if kaya ng iba, kaya ko rin. Okay. Kayang-kaya niyo.
Alam mo, Miss Joy, sabi pa nung nung Alexa ko, sabi niya pa, I'm reminding you, call appointment. I'm reminding you.
Oh,
Hindi,
so
kasi sabi ko,
uy,
remind niya ako 10 minutes before my appointment. No, it's okay. My appointment is 25 past 1. So it's like,
Oh,
yan. Kaso nag-ano kasi siya, nag-remind siya, sabi niya pa, I'm reminding you, call appointment. I'm reminding you. Sabi niya pa, shucks, so nag-mute ako. Anyways, you
So,
guys,
sina-shout
so I think,
Aldrin
i-shout,
Makalinaw, yan. Isa
ayan,
yan sa mga
i-shout out
naturuan
natin yan, yung mga
very
nanonood
good.
dyan. Aldrin Macalino, Miss Gail, magaling po yan si Miss Joy. Nako, tested and proven, Aldrin. Ayan.
Yes, kasi alam yan ni Aldrin kung gaano ako ka-strict. Sabon niya lagi siya.
So alam niyo
Yes,
na guys, sigurado bang gusto niyong lumapit kay Miss Joy pag kailangan niyo ng tulong? Anyways,
ito.
ayan.
But if
Guys,
guys,
reminder. Sorry.
yeah. I might
Reminder lang guys, don't forget to follow or subscribe to Miss Joy's channel, Financial OFW. Hindi ka lang niya tuturuang yumaman, tuturuan ka rin niyang maging nurse dito. Please don't forget to subscribe to Miss Joy's YouTube channel. That's Financial OFW. Hit her, hampasin, message her on her Facebook channel, Facebook personal account, which is Joy Pagunsan. And guys, hindi ko pala nakalimutan ko sabihin. Guys, please follow me on Instagram. Wow, may pa-Instagram si Mayor. My name on Instagram is at Pyridoxine. That's Pyridoxine. Pyridoxine is a vitamin B6 that you need for your tuberculosis. Charot lang. Basta that's Pyridoxine. That's vitamin B6. Anyways, you guys, sorry guys nag-extend na naman kami. Sorry?
Message if you have questions, okay? That if
Yes, oo.
we can
Guys,
help a bit.
i-share niyo tong video na to kasi guys, sabi kasi nung iba na baka mamaya sabihin nila, naku, ano yan, hindi nila alam, may mga tidbits tayong drop dito, mga essential things na minention. I think, Miss Joy, may last words.
So far, okay lang. Kayang-kaya yan.
Masasabi sa to go?
If you have any question and if you want to organize a review session, especially now COVID, we can do a Zoom. But of course, with the help of FNI admins and stuff like that, they are more active, especially hindi tayo ganun ka-active. But anyway, if we can help bits or any bits that we can give information that you send us a message, Gail, Golda, and any FNI admins would any information that we can share or they can share are very beneficial or essential to your future career. Okay?
Ayan. Ayan, you guys. Gusto nyo bang sumayaw si Miss Joy? Pasayawin natin si Miss Joy. Gusto nyo ba? Comment down below. Ayan. Ako na talaga ang magde-decide. Sasayaw ka talaga, Miss Joy.
Si nasa kama lang ako. Tingnan mo. Pwede bang sumayaw na lang yung aso ko?
Ano ba yan? Di ba dapat pinapasayaw lahat ng guests natin? Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for this opportunity again to learn. And Miss Joy, thank you so much for this opportunity that you've given us. Kasi alam ko, busy ka din. Busy ka sa pagpapayaman mo. Yung mga stock market natin dyan, kailangan na ba nating mag-invest, Miss Joy? Ayan. So, ayun nga, guys.
Mabubudol na naman.
Ano sabi mo?
Sweldo na bukas, mabubudol na naman.
Oo, wala pang bukas. Pero guys, watch out on our episode number 5. Ang special guest ko is si Mayora. We will be talking about personal protective equipments. So, don't forget to join us on Sunday. Sunday, guys, I think 12 noon or 1 p.m. yung nilagay ko. I'll post a poster and an advert regarding that. And please don't forget, guys, to please watch the other live streams because connected lahat ng live streams, okay? Thank you for joining us today. Miss Joy, thank you so much as in. Kailangan ng, guys, comment down below gusto niyo ng collab para sa balls. Para sa balls ni Miss Joy. Para sa balls discussion natin. Comment down below. Ayan, you guys. Thank you so much again for this opportunity. Pasayawin na yan, sabi ni Jay. Ayan, next topic, financial freedom naman daw. Ayan, you guys, don't worry. Meron tayong collab niyan. Huwag kayong mag-alala, mabubudol ko na naman po si Miss Joy. Huwag kayong mag-alala. Pag nabudol ko po uli siya, talaga pong mag-uusap tayo kung paano yumaman dito sa Ireland. Ayan. Gusto nyo ba yon? Paano yumaman? Ayan. So, Miss Joy, again, thank you so much for this opportunity. This is our first collab and I think this is a success. Thank you so much sa lahat ng mga nanonood galing sa bahay nila. And hopefully, we will see you on our episode 5 on Sunday. Ayan. Thank you so much. Best of luck. Ayan, sumayaw
Alam mo,
na.
late ka sa meeting mo, Gail. Ay, sarap lumabas.